And I am Pooja Kumari as HR Associate and OD Coordinator of SK Associates and Group. We both are your hosts for today talk show. Before we begin our talk show, let me briefly introduce SK Associates and Group. We are an ISO certified management consulting firm registered under the MSMED Act 2006 with the Government of India. Our mission is to provide consulting services to student entrepreneurs globally, covering areas such as compliance, operations, marketing, research, strategy, and operations. Our passion lies in helping these budding entrepreneurs bring their dreams to life and contribute to global economic growth.
Entrepreneur CV is a catalyst for the innovation. It's a powerful force that can reshape industries, transforms life, and make the world better place. We are committed to supporting student entrepreneurs on their journey, equipping them with the tools, knowledge, and networks they need to succeed.
Now, before we begin our show, let's take a moment to introduce our guest for today. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome Sri Krishan Rachna Jaggi, co-founder RJTC India LLP. To this special event, we are truly honored by your presence today, and we are thrilled to have you share this momentous occasion with us. We would like to start this interview with our first question for you. Actually, I'm audible, Miss Rachna.
Yeah, you are.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Now your first question is, what led you to become a consultant?
So, in fact, I was into job. I had worked throughout into a consulting firms only. Shifted to KPMG. Out it's around 26 years. Like I have been working in consulting firm. So like you could say, I started my work initially into audit and then shifted to consulting. So it's just going on. And in 2019, in fact, I left the job and started my own firm. And yeah, so we have been doing accounting advisory for long. Yeah.
Okay. Moving ahead, next question. Please, Rima.
Can you share your memorable project you have worked on?
Yeah, they are very. I mean, there are many, in fact, memorable project. But yeah, I think recently we did one project in Dubai, and that was pretty memorable one because there not only, in fact, we provided the consulting services in which the client was thrilled to get the value out of it because he had not expected. We always over delivered, but yes, that was altogether extraordinary. Even we were not expecting. We were in a flow continuously, in fact. But at the same time, why it became more memorable for me because the client was really a great client. I'll say it was for the first time we were doing it for them. It was Zimbabwe's leading bank, CBZ, with whom we were working, and so that was a project where not only I think we provided the value to the client, but we got the value also from the client, and so it started as a training project. In between it just got converted into advisory, and we discussed lot many things which we had not planned. In fact, we had to pivot. I had to pivot the strategy, in between, because the client was already expert in the field in which I was providing the training. So yeah, it resulted into advisory, and later on, in fact, the client, they were very happy, and they told me that though they thought that they are an expert in the field, but by the end of the 10 days, advisory leadership program, they told me that it's around 60, 70 places that they had committed the mistake and they were able to correct it. And then, of course, later on, they recommended us at many places. So yeah, that was memorable one. Memorable again, I'm saying, because from the client we learned lot many leadership qualities. I mean, it was a group of senior management team, in fact, and from them also we also learned a lot. So it become a really a learning process also. And yeah, we were able to deliver the quality also, which was they were also not expecting. So yeah, it became a very memorable one. So it was altogether a win-win situation for both of us. Yeah.
Okay, great. The next question is, what industries do you primarily focus on?
So our subject areas are such where we deliver consulting services into various international gaps or US gap, Indian gap. So we deal in accounting gaps and all. So here we cater to almost all the sectors because accounting is done by all the sectors. Of course, we tailor made our advices and our consulting services according to the industry they are in. But as such, it's not that we are sector focused because it's done. Accounting is done by all the sectors. So we provide services to all the sectors. But yeah, we tailor made our consulting services according to the sector they are in.
Go ahead. Next question. How do you stay updated with the industry trends?
Yeah, it's very, very important if you are into a consulting job that you stay updated. So, being a chartered accountant, like I'm also associated with our Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So, whatever new updations comes, of course, like we attend on various study forms also, which are there, created by our institute. At the same time, we also participate. We also provide this, trainings also on those platforms to others. At the same time, various industrial changes also keeps on happening. So then, of course, we are also associated with various industrial, platforms. You could say like FICCI and SHM and all. And yeah, we keep on attending something with whatever new comes in. So yeah, we keep on completely updating ourselves because otherwise it's difficult to survive as a consultant if you are not updated. Yeah. So yeah, we do that.
Okay, Miss Rachna, moving ahead, next question. What skills do you think are essential for a successful consultant?
What skills?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I think it's very, very important is your domain expertise. I mean, that's what the client look for. So domain expertise is very, very important. At the same time, your problem solving approach. You should have that kind of a skill that you should be able to see through that what exactly the pain points of the client are, and then of course offer your services or advisory your services according to their unique context. So so I'll say your domain expertise, your solving approach, and third very important thing is your communication skills. Because not only you will you have to convince a client about your recommendation, but more important is I think your active listening, that you should be able to listen because the client wants to be heard, right? And at the same time, for you also, it's very, very important that you understand what exactly the client is asking for. Whether it's their pain points or the results they are expecting, the timeline and everything, right? So yeah, active listening is very, very important. And at the same time, how do you deliver your results is not only about the fancy presentations and all, but how do you simplify. So I think for a good consultant, it's very, very important that you simplify the complex terms or situations in a layman's language, so that the client is able to understand and see the benefits what exactly you are recommending. So these three are very, very important. At the same time, of course, managing the project, of course, is it's very, very important. Another important skill, and stay updated. So these 4 5 are very important. Of course, there are many, but these are very, very important, I think, which I see through.
Okay. How do you typically approach a new project?
How do I typically approach a new project? Okay. So of course it starts with, I mean, the first call with the client is very important, because there you should be able to understand the requirement of the client, what exactly the client is looking for. So clarity in that first call is very important. So that's what I do generally. The first call itself, we see through that what exactly is the client looking for, what are their requirements, and because it's not always that you should tell the client what exactly you do you know. It's not a time to express your knowledge, but it's a time to understand what exactly they are looking for, and at the same time deciding the scope of your services. That is another thing we do. So understanding at that level should be very clear, because later on otherwise it creates problem, because maybe the client is expecting something else and you are having some other understanding, which may create a confusion or some friction later on. So yeah, decide. So in the first call itself we decide that what exactly are their problem, what are the pain points, then we decide the scope and make sure that client also understand what exactly. And sometimes it happens that in between, when you are doing the uh, project, when you have started the project, in between the client asks for some other addition, so there should be some buffer, some change process also we keep, so that later on, if the process is set, the client should follow that process. So we also make that clear, uh, that client understands, so that things go the way, you know where we both are happy with our projects. Yeah.
Uh, what are some common challenges you encounter in consulting?
What are the challenges? There are many challenges. One is, which I have seen, is many times, in fact, not I say, in few situations, but many times I've seen the client is not clear what exactly they are looking for. So clarity is not there. So at that time we always make sure that client also understand the flexibility of the contract, because many times it has happened that in between only they were able to understand, okay, they were looking for this and they were looking for that. So sometimes clarity is not there. And second thing, which is in continuation with it, is that, as I mentioned, in between they say no, they want this also. So whatever, because in the beginning itself we decide the scope. So then sometimes the client in between wants some additional work, within the same timeline, within the same budget. So that is another problem that we face. And third is, of course, the payment issue. So that should also be very clear with the client, that, because it happens sometimes that, it's difficult to get the payment from the client in time. I say it's not that we don't, it has never happened that we haven't got the payment, but yeah, in time. So now we have learned that, we keep the milestone and we keep the phases, and accordingly we tell the client also that, uh, once this milestone or this phase is complete. So that's how the payment cycle will go. So yeah, we are working on it. But yeah, these two three basically relating to the scope and understanding of the client. Yeah, one more thing, sometimes it happens that client withheld the information. Maybe they uh, they fear some confidentiality issue, but there I think you need to earn the trust of the client, so that they may share, because otherwise it will hamper the project altogether. So that is another problem. One more, I think, issue what I feel, sometimes it happens that when you provide the recommendation, the client resists the change, so it's very difficult to convince them that this is going to help them going forward in future. So there was this uh, one recent, in fact, happened that they called me uh, for one. In fact, they wanted to go for the reorganization of their business, and they invited me. And when I went there, already there was this whole that booklet was lying there of Ernst and Young. So I asked them that, for the project which you have called me, I mean, it's already done. I mean, that booklet is already there with you from Ernst and Young. So when I went through, it was really good. So I said, why you have called me? I said, no, we are not able to understand it. So we are not following it. So that thing is there. It's so. I think the consultant work should be not only recommending the client, but helping them to implement also. And if they are resisting the change and all, so then of course, having a discussion with them how it will help them out. So yeah, these are some of the issues that we face, while consulting. Yeah.
It sounds good. Moving ahead, next question. What tools or frameworks do you find most useful in your work?
Okay. So tools for the tracking of my project, generally I use Trello. To so that's very helpful tool for, because we are into accounting and we deal with IFRS and US GAAP and ESG requirements. For that, we are using Workiva because that helps us to prepare the integrated reports and all. So that is another tool. For communication and all, of course, we use Microsoft Teams, or yeah, or otherwise the Excel. Yeah. So these are few tools that we have been using, which are really helping us out. We are now exploring more, in fact, because now is the time to integrate more digital products to automate your business. So yeah, we are working on it.
How do you build trust with your clients?
How do you build that trust? I think it's the way you deliver. If you deliver the quality to your client, and you do it consistently over the period, you know develop that. So very very important is, as I earlier mentioned, that you need to have an expertise. And so what we do generally, even if it's a small project or even if it's a large project, for a small project also, we prepare in such a way that as if it's going to be a very large project, and the high level of expertise is required. So we, and even if it's so because with us it has happened that once we have delivered the services to client, the client is always repeated because we deliver the quality. So even if they are coming with the same requirement next time also, so we again try to see, and it has happened not only with one client, with various clients. And so we try to see that what all new we can incorporate, how can we make it more, more value we can generate in that. So when you over deliver kind of value, whatever value that you provide, so over the period you will see that trust is being generated, because it has happened with us that once we have provided the services, we are getting the repetition of the projects and all. So yeah, so it's a consistent performances that you do that will build the trust. Yeah.
Okay. What's your approach to managing clients' expectations?
So in managing client expectation, as I earlier said, first thing very important is that you have a clear understanding and set the expectation. I mean, very realistic expectation. So one should not, I'll say, over promise. I mean, be conservative in promising. If you find that this is not feasible, or this is not just to get the project, I think one should not over promise, which we have seen many consultants do that. So we are always conservative in promising more, but yeah, we are not conservative in delivering. So we always over deliver. So that means whatever we have promised, we go beyond that expectation of the client also. And at the same time, a regular communication with the client is also important. That you get the feedback. So be ready for the feedback also. During the project. So that's what we do. That in case the client is not satisfied with certain kind of a work, and also we do get the feedback, and we are prompt with our services. So that's how it's like the communication, two-way communication we keep throughout the project. And so this helps in client in gaining the trust of the client, and at the same time having a client on the same page as you are. So even if there are some delays in project, or if you see some issues in project, I mean, we are always um, upfront, in discussing those issues with the client, because if there are some issues, and the client should also know that there are issues. And so in this way, when the client sees that you are upfront with the approach, so I think over the period, you gain the trust, and we are able to meet those expectations. And we always try to go beyond expectation. That's what our always our endeavor is. Yeah.
Uh, can you share a challenging client interaction, how you handle it?
Challenging client interactions. So there was this one challenging. Uh, so I'll say there was no interaction. We were asking for the information, we were not getting the information. So yeah, that was very challenging situation, because so there was this one point. It seemed that perhaps we will not be able to complete the project, or we should give up the project because we are not getting it. And the only point was to, like, they were pretty very senior people, like, senior than us. I mean, they were all near the retiring age, and of course they were more qualified than us and all. So there were some ego issues or something that, perhaps they were taking as, they're small and how they're asking so many questions and all. So yeah, if it happened in 2-3 days, and then we brought the change in behavioral things, instead of asking them questions. And so they were having this, that, how are they asking these questions to us. And so yeah, we could see that there was some ego hurt going on. So yeah, so then we changed the way we were talking to them, and we instead, we tried to become friendly with them. We were more in a way that, requesting them, or seeking some guidance from them, something like this, we did. And that was interesting also, because that was difficult to mold, because consultants are always in a inquisitive mode. We are always into a question form, that what exactly, because we need to get the information. But there, of course, we brought the change, the way we were talking to them. And that helped us, because then they were like, they were all image. I'll not say it has happened immediately. It took us 1 week actually. But yeah, they were able to understand that, no, here we are, they are not asking, they are actually trying to understand from us, from our experience, that what exactly the challenges the organization is facing, how they are coping with that. Yeah, so there we had brought some behavioral changes in our approach, and that's how we were able to handle it. But that was really challenging work.
Okay, your next question is, what emerging trends do you see shaping your industry?
So emerging trends, see now, because now people, in fact, organizations are looking for more integration of digital tools. So yeah, that is one uh, change which is happening now post pandemic. Now the work culture has also changed, so that has helped. In fact, the consultants also earlier, in fact, we had to go, face to face, and all those consulting we used to provide. Now the remote consulting is a new trend which is helping us, because now the world is your market. I mean, you don't have to travel. The client is also able to save the cost. You're also able to have the clients across the borders. So yeah, that has helped. In fact, the pandemic has really helped us expand our business. So yeah, that is another thing. The another, I think, new sector which is not, for which the consulting, I think, uh, consulting opportunities will be more, is the ESG requirement, environment, social and corporate social responsibility and all. So there, of course, lot many new opportunities are coming up. So these are few changes. Of course, now the consultant also have to update themselves into this new AIs which are coming up and all, because the business asks parts. Business asks for a comprehensive approach. They look for one destination where they can get all the comprehensive services and all. So yeah, the consultants also have to update themselves. We are also working on that, in learning new AIs and all, new additional tools, so that we can help our clients to take the benefit of these. So yeah, these are few trends which we are seeing. At the same time, I think the financial services also are is the sector, I think, which is really doing well, and there are more requirement we are seeing in these areas where the consultants are asked for. Like, yeah, so these are few areas where I think consulting is evolving. Yeah.
Okay. What advice could you la- what advice would you give to someone looking to start a career in consulting?
So advice, if someone wants, so then of course first is of course to get the relevant skill, relevant skill in the sense, uh, like for example, you must have subject matter expertise. So whatever subjects you are dealing in, I mean, try to gain more expertise on that area. You must have the data. So data analysis is another technique. You should be able to analyze the data and see through. uh, and problem solving skill is another thing. Communication is very, very important. How you put through your recommendation, how you understand the client. So it's both ways. uh, so, and stay updated at the same time. For the new consultants, I'll say, uh, if it will be really good if they can get some kind of an internship, in some good consulting companies, and do some projects, have some mentor, uh, and yes, learn to network with professionals, because this is an area where networking is really important. Collaboration is really important. So you should have these kind of skills. So if you want to really, work in these areas, yeah.
Okay, moving ahead, next question. What do you think clients value most in consultant?
Client value more in consultant. One is of course domain expertise always. That is very important. Your problem solving approach again. So I think whatever the I have mentioned for a new consultant, I mean, these are the some of the qualities the client look for uh, in you. How you are, you know, you have an expertise, you have a problem solving skills, you are a good communicator, like you are able to understand. At the same time, that honesty and integrity with which you work, that is another area, because there are many areas the client look for. So you don't know which, but these are the basics one which I'm saying. The integrity is very, very important in any professional, I'll say. uh, if you want to really want to work, expand your business and all, because that's what the business look for generally. And you're able, the way you are able to see the overall picture and how your solution fits in, that is also very important thing. Right? So, like, for example, I was just discussing it with one of the doctor. In allopathy, we go to, for a dental thing, you go to a dental surgeon. For other problem, you go to a particular, respective field uh, doctor, and they give you medicine related to that, but then that medicine may affect the other part of your body. So they can't say that because they don't have an expertise in that field, right? But the overall, I'll say, the health consultant, if you find the true health consultant is one which looks at the problem from the overall health perspective, how your body will respond to a particular diet you are taking or nutrition you are taking, how it will impact your overall body. That's how I think the consultant has to work. How you should have that capability to see, to understand the organization, to understand different aspect of an organization, to have an overall view, and how your solution fits in, which will help not only in that particular area where you are providing your services, but it provide the synergies to other areas also. So that's another aspect which is very, very important. Yeah.
Okay. What sectors do you think will see the most growth is consulting?
So sectors I have already mentioned. I think this ESG, one which I'm saying, ESG is definitely going to be a big sector, and this digital tools and sales and marketing is, yeah, another area where consulting is now booming, and now organizations are also looking for e-learnings, because of the time constraint and all. So education and training is another aspect, or the sector where I think most of the services are now catered to. We are also providing those services. So these are some of the sectors, which are really uh, now going forward, I think. So these are the sectors which I think are related to our area, but I think other areas also, like human resources, the employee development, and so this is another, because we collaborate with other consultants also which provide different services. So yeah, those are the requirements also we get from the client more often, where we hire the other consultants with us or we collaborate with other consultants. So yeah, these are few areas where I see that, you know over the period the demand will increase. Yeah.
Okay. How do you think technology is impacting consulting?
Yeah, as I have already mentioned that, organization are looking for integration of digital tools and all, and with AI and all that, different AI tools are coming up, so definitely it's impacting the consulting also. So one thing is for sure, that it's not that consultants will be replaced because uh, uh, but uh, but yes, now the organizations are looking for these kind of integrations. It's very, very important for consultants to stay updated and learn new technologies to help the client. So it's for the consultant to stay updated and learn, constantly learn new skills, so that they are not replaced. But I think it will not be like, it is not that they will completely be replaced, because mind, your knowledge really matters, and the kind of personal relationship that you build, um, and the kind of advice that you are able, because it's not only one project that you do for the client, it's after sales services also that we provide, the kind of relationship we build, uh, which gives more assurance to the client, rather than AI, where you are not able to even communicate your small pain points and all. So it's important for consultant to stay updated, so that they can provide all kinds of, they can meet all kinds of requirement of the client. Yeah.
Okay. How do you maintain work life balance in such a demanding field?
This is big issue in consulting, maintaining work life balance. But as I have been into a consulting area for long, so that is something which I have been able to. So over the period, what I've done, if I've, because generally we have these long projects, and so what I do generally, when the work, of course, is demanding, sometimes we work, if we have tight deadlines, sometimes, of course, we need to slog also. But yeah, important is to, even if it's a 1 day or 2 day after you complete the project, I'll say, if you can take 1 or 2 days, vacation, that's what I do generally. uh, After finishing the project, because before I start a new project, I definitely go out, for 1 or 2 days somewhere to refresh myself, because that's very, very important, to spend time with the family, to stay connected with them, to discuss with your friends any issue you are facing, or just to chill out, because uh, it's for the work also, you'll be able to deliver quality only when you are in a good state of mind. uh, so I do that. So generally, if it's not peak time, so that time, of course, I have set some time zones also, like, that beyond that working hours and all, maybe I'll not get into those projects. But yeah, when it's peak hours, you have to slog. But then taking a break, short break, I'll say, that really helped in rejuvenating yourself and then getting back into it. So yeah, I do that. In fact, I sometimes, whenever I get the chance, I do get, say, uh, a week or so off just to learn new skill, because, as I mentioned, you have to keep yourself updated. So there, I do that, as that helps. So one is that you uh, learn new skills, and second is, of course, you network, with similar kind of professionals, similar kind of minds and all. You learn more new things with them. You make new friends. You get more collaborate. The opportunities for collaboration. So yeah, that I continue do while my projects. Yeah.
Uh, how do you see the role of consultants evolving in the next few years?
Role of consultant is definitely is already evolved, and it's going to evolve. As I mentioned, now the new areas are coming up. So consultants are really going to get good business, I'll say, because now I have seen earlier the problem was that, consultants were called on whenever there is a problem, and also whenever there is an issue. But now the businesses are also understanding, and so it's not only for the challenge where they call whenever the challenge they face, but yeah, they are also called when the business wants some kind of improvement or growth opportunities, or helping the you know team to learn new skills and all. So these things are coming up, with the organization, that understanding which is coming up with the organization, that we are observing for over the period. And at the same time, as I mentioned, these new areas like, digital integration of digital tools, or ESG, or financial services and all, these are the areas where the demand is increasing, and various other new sectors are coming up. So yeah, it's definitely going to evolve in few years. Yeah, is already, I think, evolving, but yeah, it's going to increase definitely.
Okay. How do you handle stress and tight deadlines?
Stress, I follow Buddhism. So that really helped me in managing the stress, so I don't take that stress. In fact, what I have learned, if you enjoy the work, there is no stress, even if it's multiple projects you are handling. If you are enjoying your work, I don't feel stress. And how to meet important deadlines, then of course you need to prioritize. You need to see that what is important, what is urgent, accordingly you need to prioritize the client, because we keep on handling multiple projects of different clients. So you need to see that where the urgency is, where the importance is. And you need to see, I mean, there are different ways we do. If you see there dependency of one project on the other, then you need to plan out that way. So yeah, so that is also the way. But yeah, I think my Buddhism practice also helped me in managing those stress and all. So yeah, I'm able to. So I have never felt stressed. In fact, I enjoy. uh, working. I mean, when you are into your work, you are in the flow, then there is no stress. So there are two ways. One is, I always, tell the other professionals also, there are two ways. One is that you do the work, either even if you're not a consultant, you are into a job. There also I tell one thing, that either you do the job while cribbing, you have to do the job, it's your work, or you enjoy your work and do it. Now the choice is yours. Ultimately, you only have to do it, either as a consultant or as an employee. So better is do it, enjoy it, then you'll not feel the stress. Yeah.
Okay, moving ahead. Next question. What do you enjoy most about consulting?
So consulting gives new challenging opportunities. So you learn more, because various projects that we receive, where I think good consulting is where it's not that consultants have all the answers, uh, but as the problems comes, when you try to gather some information, whether you do some research, you also learn new things. And so it expand your horizon also. So you keep on evolving as a professional. So that is what I enjoy most about this work. Secondly, of course, meeting new people. So that is another thing which I really enjoy. But yes, the work, the kind of work, because in a job, uh, in a particular job, otherwise, you are doing the same kind of thing repetitively. But here you are doing various new projects, various different projects, which helps you as a professional also, as a human being also, you evolve. And yeah, I love meeting new people, and yes, understanding new industries. That is another aspect, because we cater to different industries, different sectors. So that is another area that we really enjoy.
Okay. Go ahead. Next question. How do you expand your professional networks?
So I'm associated with various professional platforms, like I mentioned, Institute of Chartered Accountants. We have these different study forums. We do that. Then I'm also associated with the FICCE, SHM, PhD chambers. Those are the other, and various other networking opportunities keep on coming, and we try to attend those opportunities where we can network, where we can collaborate. And I try to get into those places where maybe even if the seminar is being conducted, where professional of other fields are there, because there you have more collaboration opportunities, more networking opportunities, because as I mentioned, the business always look for one destination where they can get all kinds of services. So it's not that you can provide also for a consultant, if you are providing, like we have an expertise uh, in accounting advisory services or ESG requirements, but the business look for many other services. So we try to collaborate, we try to network with other professionals which provide services in other areas, so that we can cater to our client comprehensively. So yeah, we do that.
Okay, what are some common misconceptions about consulting?
Common misconceptions. One is that you know the you know, common which I have seen is that it is it is it's a common thing that they think that consultants have all the ready-made answers. They can give the instant answers. That is very big misconception. The consultant also see through that what exactly is your unique context. Then they also gather the information, So they also take time in providing the tailor-made advice that the business is looking for. It's not that you just come